This is the second part of chapter 9. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about theory. Um, this is forming portfolios. Now, in investments, we always have portfolios, right? You've probably heard the expression of not to put all the eggs in one basket. Well, it's the same here thing. It's the same thing here. Sorry, we do something that's called diversify. That is, we're going to invest in different types of financial assets. We do this so that we can get rid of risk, right? We get rid of risk by diversifying. Um, some theorists think that 20 stocks is the minimum that you need to have in order to have a well diversified portfolio. Now, by diversifying that you're also going to have some issues, or it's going to be affecting your portfolio return. We will talk about that in just a minute. So there are two components of risk. Total risk. By the way, standard deviation is a measure of total risk. So we have two types of risk: firm-specific risk and market risk. Firm-specific risk is the one that we can diversify. Market risk, we cannot diversify. That affects all of the assets in the market. Firm-specific risk: if the firm goes bankrupt, if the firm comes with a great idea and a great product, all of those things are going to be part of your firm-specific risk. Market risk affects everyone. We want to get rid of firm-specific risk, right? That is also called diversifiable risk because we can get rid of it, right? Market risk, on the other hand, is non-diversifiable, right? This is what we were talking about just a minute ago, right? Uh, as we keep on adding more stocks, the firm standard deviation of our portfolio dramatically goes down, right? Um, we will never go beyond market risk, though. We will always be tangent to market risk. S&P 500, well, if we have a portfolio with 500 stocks, we're diversifying a lot of our risk, right? Now, note that as you keep on adding more stocks, you don't get rid of as much risk as in the beginning, right? So that's an important factor to consider. Uh, Risk is reduced when you combine your securities, right? Uh, so there's an optimal portfolio, and that is the one that gives you the highest return for that level of risk, right? So this right here is the efficient portfolios, right? Now I'm talking about this just FYI, so that you have a better idea of portfolio theory. But these efficient portfolios are the ones that investors are going to choose if they want to allocate their wealth in the best way possible. Uh, Now, as one of the concepts that is important in diversification is correlation. Right? Correlation is the movement of two assets. How are two assets gonna move uh, through time? Correlation. Hopefully, you remember this from statistics. It's bounded from -1 to +1. If correlation is +1, the two assets move at the same rate, at the same direction. If correlation is -1, they move at the same rate in opposite directions. We want our correlation in our portfolios to be as close to -1 as possible. In reality, it is hard to have assets that are negative correlated, but we can have them closer to zero, and that will do the job, right? Now, think about diversifying and think about you're going to have two stocks and you're going to have FedEx and UPS. Are you really diversifying if you are investing in FedEx and UPS? Well, certainly those are two corporations, but I have the impression that both of them are correlated, right? The movement of one can explain the movement of the other. So I would be a little cautious if I were investing in those two stocks. I'd rather do FedEx and McDonald's, right? I don't think they're that correlated. So if we want to know the return of our portfolio, it is going to be very simple, and you're going to have a lot of chance to practice with your Connect. We're going to be multiplying the weight of every stock times the return of every stock. Now, weight is the percentage of our portfolio that goes to that stock. If we're investing $1,000,000 and we put $300,000 in McDonald's, we're putting 30% of our portfolio in McDonald's, right? So we get the weight by dividing how much are we investing in every stock by the total of every stock. We multiply that times the return that we're receiving in every stock at the